Hello. This one's a little bit impromptu, but I had an idea, so let's test it. I don't think anyone's watching. Oh, should I open with, hey guys? All right. Announcement. The Church of Woke have decided that there are too many things that are problematic. So I think that I need to start bringing them to you in a quick daily fucking live stream and we can just laugh at it. It has now gotten to the point where it is so absurd. Fuck. Okay. Now, quick disclaimer. Okay. For those who are of the literal variety. Okay, this is tongue in cheek. This is meant to be funny. I am sorry, I'm fucking with some windows. Give me 1 second. Fucking with some windows. This is intended to be funny. Okay? I have no hate in my heart. Those who know me know that I'm not. These people, it's if you see previous videos, you will see that I've reached a point where I just fucking have to laugh at this stuff because it is now so absurd that it needs to be called out. I am making fun of the things that are silly, the things that are over the top, and I comment. My job is to comment on the internet and politics on the internet and culture and try to have a bit of a laugh about it. I am not a journalist. I am a normal person, digital consultant who has seen the fucking wheels falling off of this industry for probably about 5 years now. Okay, and now I'm sitting back and I've got myself my coffee and my drink and I'm just going to enjoy myself because I sit here and I go, fucking hell. Okay, so this is the first one. I'll probably make them a bit shorter and quicker, but whatever. I'm going to try not to get too derailed by comments unless I will address questions and stuff at the end, but I just want to get through because I have a tendency to get, I've ADD, so I get fucking distracted and then we end up with a 2-hour stream that nobody wants to watch. So I'm going to keep this short. It's going to be a few minutes, 30 minutes max. Okay. So let's get this going. I'm only commenting on the cultish behavior and the funny, stupid shit. This is meant to be funny. This is a joke. If you're going to be offended, whatever, okay? It's just a joke, okay? I am an ally of the LGBT community, and those are the letters that I will use moving forward. And I have no hate in my heart. I'm on board with your concepts, not on board with your behavior, and I'm making fun of the cult from this point forward. So here's the problematic news of the day. Okay? Honestly, there's so many. I have a 3-year backlog of rants, but this one, this hit yesterday and I just was like, fuck this. I need to do daily reports on this. I can't keep up with the bin fire that's going on right now. So, do you want to guess what's problematic? There's another one that landed this morning that I got to talk to. Oh, this is a double feature, okay? So, what the fuck, people? What the fuck is going on? So, things that are problematic today. A horror movie doesn't have a trigger warning in it. A horror movie based on a book written in the 70s? 70s? 80s? I probably should have checked that. Oh well. You know my point. Has a warning about the content. Okay. I'm going to share my screen very quickly. And if you've been in my live streams, you will be familiar with how retarded I am at multitasking in live streams. So these are the bits that get edited out. So give me 1 second while I adjust my screens. Okay. No, we want Chrome and camera right. That's what we want. No, we don't. We want, there we go. Okay, now this is, I'm not, again, this is contentious, but I'm not making fun of the LGBT community or Out Magazine or anything like that. I am making fun of the mindset. Okay? I am using the word snowflake ironically. I am not alt-right or adjacent or anything like that. I am just fucking sick of it. As I've said in the last few streams, I am sick of these fuckwits. The grown-ups, we're sick of this fuck. I said this in my Borderlands video, which is the fact there is a difference between a tweet and what you put in the news. Okay? And you don't publish fan opinions. I've run fan communities for fucking 15 years. You don't put those in the paper, you fuckwits. Okay? So hopefully, if my sound is distorting because I am getting yelly and I've moved the microphone to be more of a dynamic range thing rather than a clip, let me know and I'll change it. Anyway, I just want to show this because this is everything that is making me just go, what the fuck? You guys have gone off the fucking deep end. And I am not preserving my hetero white cis fucking privilege by joking about this. It's fucking funny. And you're a tool. And you have too much time on your hands. As I've said, I keep saying the same fucking shit over and over again. I'm just going to become a meme at this point. All right. Anyway, Pennywise, and okay, so Pink News did a publication, an article that explained why. Again, I understand why. I want it clear and known that I understand why this is. Okay? I get it. Okay? You don't need... Actually, no. I shouldn't say don't at me because I want you to at me, but I want you to at me in the comments so that I get fucking traction because this is a new channel. So fucking roast me. I don't care. Okay? Cancel me. Try to cancel me. It'll be manually reviewed. For the manual reviewers, this is comedy. Okay, let's go. Moving on. So, Pink News did an article. The reason why I'm focusing on Out, I'm not picking on them specifically, is the headline. And it's the word surprising. Okay? It's the word surprising that sort of tipped me over. Look, I understand that there's a lot of shared trauma with the gay community, especially around violence and around that sort of stuff. But it's the word surprising that I just couldn't get over. Okay? I just can't stop laughing at this fucking thing. How is any of this a surprise? Now, I'm just going to read through it, and then I will do all the bits that I've been rehearsing in my head, okay? Some of these things is me sort of shooting the shit to try and practice some performing stand-up too, just so you know. So if the jokes fall flat, this is just my way of fucking like getting better at jokes. But this is basically going to be like that thing in The Simpsons with the where I feel like the TV's laughing at me and he turns it on and the TV is just laughing. So I apologise if this is just footage of me laughing, but it's just so ridiculous. It's like the killer clown. The thing is, I don't know if this is actually at a point where they're like serious or not. So what I try to do is I read it as though they're serious, but I legit can't tell. The killer clown isn't the ally we thought he was. Pennywise was a gay ally. I'm very disappointed in you. Pedophilic, child kidnapping, child terrorizing clown who feeds on people's fears. The clown who feeds on fear shows people's worst fears. It's a movie about people's worst fears and the worst shit that you can think of. pretty sure that's inherent trigger warning in a horror film. Okay, I'm going to try and stop just wasting everyone's time with you watching me laugh. So it gets better. The killer clown isn't the ally we thought he was. It's surprisingly anti-queer. I hate the word queer, by the way, and a lot of people in the gay community do. I refuse to use it. I'm sorry, YouTube gods. I'm reading an article. So, not that I care because I don't get demonetized. I just don't want to get, removed. This is just a streaming platform for me. It's not, So, in the aftermath of 2017's It, Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise the Dancing Clown became something of a gay icon. Between memes and makeup tutorials, Pennywise was everywhere. So the gay community took the movie, memed it, decided that it was an icon, and then punished the... Okay, anyway, moving on. I could fucking go on about this for hours. So they were... Where are we? I lost my line. This is what happens in live streams. So he and other monstrous LGBTQ plus favourite, the Babadook, is that how you say it, were seen as #couple goals. Yes, I know I really, really would love to lie in bed next to Pennywise the Clown, which is funny because my husband has serial killer face and I often joke that I should we should go to a park and hand him a balloon and let him just look at the children, and I'm going to photograph and film it because fucking hell, I am married to it. Like that. Yeah, that is the butt of the joke. Anyway, fucking digression. My ADD meds have not kicked in at all. So sorry about that. So after seeing chapter 2, I'm sad to announce, this has to be tongue in cheek. I'm sad to announce that Pennywise is not gay. Well, this is what happens with your fan fiction. It's fucking fan fiction. Anyway, in fact, Pennywise is surprisingly anti-queer. Is that what's problematic about Pennywise the Clown? Really? Okay. So, I am not, again, I'm going to say it 10 times, I'm not making light of the original events that the book was based on. It was horrific. But it's a fucking horror movie. You can't tell us it's one thing to come after comedy and tell people what they can and cannot laugh at. It's another thing to turn around and act surprised that a serial killing clown that feeds on people's deepest, darkest, worst fears in a horror film is not the gay unicorn you thought that they were. What is wrong with you people? And you people means fucking woke people, not any class of... This is what we see. This is what we need to do. Keep qualifying our language and being careful and fucking legal disclaimers. Do you know what? The woke movement's really, really good for entertainment lawyers. That's who it's really good for, is fucking putting it through lawyers. I really should finish law school, but fuck it. Anyway, I'm just going to rant on YouTube instead. Do something productive with my life. Anyway, so the murder of Charlie Howard, I'm not making light of that. I'm going to move on from that, okay? I get that. But, we don't need to read this. We know what it is. Killer clown who feeds on everyone's worst fears. There needs to be a trigger warning on Twitter for a horror film from a book that was written in the 70s that had a previous film and part 1. You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. It doesn't need a trigger warning. It's a fucking horror film. It's a 30-year-old, how many years ago was this? Whatever. 30-year-old book with this scene in the book. All this does is show that you don't know fuck all. Like you haven't read, like, Jesus fucking Christ. I think the fact that it says R-rated horror, truer to the book than the original film. How much of a trigger warning do these fucks need? I don't think anyone, like, again, I need to make this 1,000 times clear. I'm going to repeat myself, okay? I am not making light of the hate crime. I am not making light of the shared trauma of the LGBT community. That said, this is bullshit. And the T are traumatizing the L more than anything at the moment and reminding them of all of this fucking hate. So maybe you should get your shit together and start focusing on what's actually fucking reminding people of conversion therapy and all those sorts of things, and pull your heads in. There's a fine line between anger and comedy, isn't there? There's no female rant comics because everyone just thinks we're fucking like hormonal or something. But anyway, maybe I could be a female rant comic. Who knows? But seriously, okay? If you need a trigger warning for part 2, having seen part 1, that was pretty scary. Trigger warning. My rainbow unicorn fucking fantasy hasn't come true. My fan fiction isn't real. Do you need a trigger warning because your fan fiction turned out to not be real? Like, what the fuck? As somebody who actually has suffered trauma in my life, fuck you. Like, seriously, fuck you. Anyway, that was meant to be a funny fuck you, but it's just like, I just, right? If I had the time to edit, I'd make a fucking head exploding After Effects, but I can't be bothered, so fuck it. Just to insert fucking head explosions here. Anyway, I'm ranting too long, going too long. So, the other thing, part 2, okay? And this is a follow-up. This one just appeared this morning. This one is a follow-up to my favorite fucking document, which is this, the Colorado State University Inclusive Language Policy. In case you haven't seen it, you're not allowed, there's all these things you can't say, okay? So, there we go. It's a beautiful document. It's wonderful. I suggest you read it. You're not allowed to say, here's all the words you can't say: basket case, crack, birth defect, all these things, okay? Freshman. So added to the list of words that you can't say, it's been announced by the Church of Woke, by Saint Mary Problematique. I don't know how I'm making shit up. All right. Oh, this is fucking wonderful. And I hope it works. Oh, these, okay, I do tend to battle with these overlays. I'm still getting used to my stuff. All right. I'm going to play a video for you. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through the whole thing. But apparently, hey guys, is something that we're not allowed to say. So, just tell your friends.
Hey guys, welcome back to Now This.
Let me just turn the system on.
Guys is a simple term.
This is the bit where I grapple with tech and make a fool of myself. Just give me 1 second. Okay.
It could mean boys, or if you're modern, hip, it means people. At first glance, guys seems inviting, friendly, maybe
hey guys,
warm, even comedic at times.
Seems inviting.
But it, like many male default terms, should not be normalized as an all-encompassing
It already is
phrase,
normalized.
innocent as it may seem. While we may understand the word means no real harm, with a deeper look, you'll understand that we've been ignoring the cognitive impact on women as well as gender non-conforming.
Gender non-conforming, folks. I'm gender non-conforming.
Male-identifying individuals.
And I say, hey guys.
The meaning of guys has changed.
And I get, hey guys.
According to the Washington Post,
yes, again.
Etymologists believe it began in the 17th century with a guy
this guy Fawkes.
a participant in the failed...
This reminds me of, hang on, I'm going to pause. Like, this exactly reminds me of Basket Case in that fucking Colorado State University thing.
For the next few centuries, those who likened him in
where Basket Case referred to people who'd lost all 4 limbs in the war.
Eventually, according to the Boston Globe,
and they were carried around in a basket. It's like, how fucking abstract.
A generic term for men, and now some would say
it describes creepy people, apparently.
For decades, we have set a standard of only addressing the men in the room.
Fuck me.
Of course, we claim it's colloquial,
and yes,
but with our
you know what? Again,
and inclusive perspective,
what they do is they go with something that is there's a grain of truth to it, which is, yes, read Caroline, what's her name? Perez. Invisible Women. Read that about the default male. Yes, that's real, but that has data. This is feelings, not data. Okay? There's a point where you're fighting the wrong fucking battle.
These linguistic tendencies were developed and reinforced in eras where women were barely meant to be seen and certainly not heard. Please note, you're not a bad feminist if you're comfortable.
I'm just going to point out,
phrase, guys. There are larger issues
and I know I'm talking over this video.
Need to combat. Reproductive rights, rape culture, violence against women, LGBTQ rights, and the general reprogramming of most
this is deliberate.
Minds when it comes to the valuation of women in society. But when you stop valuing the personhood and visibility of individuals, you make it easier to dehumanize them on a macro scale, minimizing his, her, it,
yeah, you have the right to respect and equality.
I'm not offended per se if someone lumps me in with the guys. I'm sure there's really no...
You're not, it's...
In fact, if you and your friends want to freely address each other...
By all means. See,
I just want
notice
you to know
this pattern of language, right?
Away from making a more conscious effort to dismantle the patriarchy. Don't believe me? Try walking into a room full of cisgender heterosexual men and triumphantly announce, "Hey gals, okay girls,
hey gals."
Sis. I'm sure within 10 minutes, if not seconds, at least one person will correct you. We should all be as protective of our gender identities as a cisgender heterosexual man.
I'm waiting for this video to finish because I want you to see the icing on the cake.
Hey guys with a simple, "Good morning everyone. Hi y'all."
I have some thoughts.
Everybody, scholars,
you might be surprised to know.
Work, campers if you're in the forest, Bayhive because it's always appropriate. You can also just find ways to insert people's names.
It seems reasonable on the surface. I want to say
nothing at all.
Part of the things that I want to do is explain how this works. How this seems true and how I seem like an asshole by making fun of it. But it's actually what's under that next layer. Okay? So I want to explain what they're doing here with the communication.
But thank you in advance for trying. You can say that all of this
is
silly or too PC, but there are always larger societal implications of language. The way we use it and weaponize it.
So,
face it,
one thing that I do know well is persuasive communication.
So if you do nothing else,
none of this, and obviously work with advertising and run an agency, I know how this shit works. This is propaganda manipulation 101, right? Now, the casting is not an accident. Okay? Now, again, I could be wrong. I'm quite happy to be wrong, but I'd very much doubt it because there's some pretty decent people in charge of this stuff. They know the same things that I know. None of this is by accident. This is not a naive young woman of color being put there, because what that does is if you criticize this in any way, you are considered to be punching down, right? Just simply by critiquing this video, you get accused. You already lose your, I'm going to get fucking hammered, whatever. But you instantly lose your points. Okay, so they get to accuse you of racism. First up. Okay, if you are a woman, you refute this. It's Zugzwang, right? I use that word all the time to talk about how you're forced to make a move and you can't make it, and they're all losing moves. That's the concept. It's the same thing, right? So they cast. The casting is not an accident. Because if someone like me, an old white cis feminist, is critical of this, that somehow it positions me as a Nazi, alt-right, bigot, racist, punching down, okay? No, because I see through it. The casting is not an accident, okay? It was probably done by people, okay? Now, what I want to do is hark back here to these patronising, condescending. I challenge you to take an extra 0.5 seconds to think what comes out of your mouth before you say it. You're free to leave, but would you mind telling us why? Or let me come back to this, my favourite, right? Let me go back to the inclusive language policy. Right, hang on, I'm just grappling with screens. Look at this. This is not an official policy or required practice. This document is intended as a resource to help our campus community reflect our principles of inclusion. So we all believe this, and if you don't, then you're an outlier. And if you question it, you should really think about your actions and think about who you are as a person. If you challenge the cult, right? This is dangerous stuff. This language is very, very scary. I've studied this stuff, this persuasive language, and this is not an accident, okay? And I'm sure that most of the people here are idiots, like they're just not idiots, but, you know, naive and good people who are involved. I'm sure this girl thinks that she's doing good, right? But the things that they sneak in, right? They wrap it in education, but it's not educational. It's cherry picking, and it's not based in anything, right? Yes, there's a history behind the word guys, and like the Guy Fawkes thing, that's fucking ridiculous. You know, but what this does is it positions you in a way that if you critique it, you're a bigot or you're a racist. Now, what's funny is that the ratios on this tweet are fucking amazing, because both the left and the right seem to be quite unified on this. So this is that line, that delicate line, right, where I think that the left, the smart left like myself, are starting to sort of become more aware of this stuff. But if you work in communications or politics or anything and you aren't part of the cult, you see what this is. This is by design, okay? Put a young woman of colour in, right? Because any critique of the video, instantly, that's it, the pile-on happens, right? Then guys put some history in it to make it look all credible and shit. That's not the etymology of the word. Etymology? Entomology? Oh, I guess. One's butterflies and one's etymology. You know, while we, and also NLP. There's some NLP stuff going on in here as well, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And a lot of manipulative salespeople use these types of things where they use objection handling. So what the classic trick that they use is that they use your own objections in your mind, like that own conversation that you're having in your head with yourself that makes you object to this content, and then refutes that. Scientology do it. That's how they do it. Like, it's manipulative, right? That's how these MLM schemes work. They basically have a laundry list of, you know, a script of things that say, well, we're not MLM, we are a business networking, whatever. You might think this sounds a bit sus. Well, let me address that objection. It's deliberate, right? While we may understand that I don't mean any real harm, and then they turn it back on you. But these are natural objections that you have, because it doesn't do real harm. Yes, on some micro scale, microaggressions matter. But policy and economics and class matters more, okay? This is a distraction and a derailment of everything that left-wing politics is about. It's eerily like the evangelical church and Scientology and the methods that they use, which gives you, so basically what they do is they give you a bit of, Oh, hey, open. Guys is a simple term. This is classic clickbait, right? But it's actually very dangerous. It should not be normalized. It is normalized. It has been for fucking 30 years and beyond. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Okay? Now, and what they do, and this is what Jack did on Joe Rogan, is that they put this is deliberate and strategic. It's not an accident that they put a young, pretty woman of color as a human shield for any criticism, right? Jack did that, and that was fucking abhorrent. And it's on a subconscious level because most people aren't racist, even though they think we're all white supremacists. Most people aren't racist. I watch what I say. You're instantly on guard because you've got to be careful and precise about what you say, because any criticism you're going to have to back, and you know that you're going to be accused of being racist or punching down instantly. This is how this psychology of identity politics works. Okay, so basically, so you may think, and then they wrap it in what looks like, most people aren't going to go and read the history, so they just go, oh yeah, well that sounds good. And I've run a business for 15 years. I experienced this, but again, it's something that you don't police language. You don't stop the language. What you do is you put people into this culture of fear. And again, I'm going to go off for a minute, and I know that I've run over, but I'm going to go off because this is a good point, which is that I've seen lately a bunch of Twitter feminists, again, saying that men are uncomfortable being alone with women in the workplace. Women are uncomfortable hiring attractive women in the workplace as a consequence of Me Too. And I think that is a valid fucking feeling. And I don't, and then they come back with these simplistic answers like, well, if you're so worried you're going to assault somebody, then you need to check yourself. I said, that's really not what's going on. Because I've been put on the white supremacy line for daring to suggest that, I've been accused of all sorts of shit just for being clear in my thinking. And it's Zugzwang. Look up Zugzwang. It's my favorite word, and it explains this situation perfectly. The same thing as a Kafka trap. I don't like using that. See, again, I have to keep watching the words that I use because they've been repurposed by both sides. And I joked that I was chief grifter at my business. I can't use the word grifter anymore because apparently that's a fucking thing now too. So stop stealing words. Can we just get back to definitions? Anyway, back to my point. My point is that that's a valid fucking kickback from Me Too. I'm a radical feminist, and again, definitions. Radical means get to the root, not extreme feminist. It means get to the root cause, and that's what I talk about. Root causes, right? Race intersects with class and various other things. Okay. Anyway, so I have to make sure, see, these have to run long because I have to make sure that I qualify everything. This could be a 10-minute video if I didn't have to watch what I was saying. So, it's a valid concern because your microaggressions are now, there's a false equivalency between these fucking looking at you funny and rape, which is bullshit. Read Jermaine Greer's On Rape. Don't just react to it, but read it. It's actually a very interesting political argument and policy argument. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good point. Anyway, so, but this is deliberate. This is fucking deliberate. So what they do is they go through, they give you a bit of history. I'm just going to mute the sound on it and just play through because so they add references. According to a media article, which anyone can fucking publish anything now, it's just meaningless, cherry picking some sort of weird history to add credibility to the message, right? And for some reason, just attaching, they add some violent. See, this is something, again, that what the Christians do. They love to bring in the violent rage, the violence. For people who are so anti everything, they seem to really love their fucking snuff. They really do. God, I'm going to get in trouble with YouTube for that. Okay, so So basically, I call it the snuff move, where they use some extreme violence in order to win a minor point, which is this. So they go to this extreme violence as an example and then pull it back to guys, like, and creating that false equivalency between the two, right? So while you may think this is the answer. This is grooming. This is absolute brainwashing, grooming 101. Objection handling. In sales, it's called objection handling, where they go, okay, well, you might think that this is something that's overreactive, but you might think this, but you might laugh at this video, but if you do, then you're a white supremacist. It's this constant trap in communication, and I'm seeing smart people that I love getting caught into this fucking stuff. It's actually smart people that fall for it because they're talking about grains of truth. And that's the thing, is that there is actually a grain of truth in all of these concepts, but they've just taken a 45-degree turn into crazy town. Okay? So, I know this hasn't been terribly structured because I didn't really plan on going into the theory, but I can break this down. If people are interested, I could probably write something. But again, they talk about things in history that are true but complicated. And they try to link that to this minor. So it's like, well, you don't like Nazis, do you? Nobody fucking likes Nazis. Nobody. You can count nobody. It's a stupid statement. It's a motherhood statement, and I'm sure using the term motherhood statement is problematic as well. But it's redundant. Take it to the extreme, and then somehow create some false equivalency between saying biology is real, and it's like, well, you don't like girls being, like whatever. And I go, well, no, they're different issues. They're not the same thing. And it's funny, once you actually start to analyze this from a communication psychology point of view, you really get to see what's going on here. So yes, women were seen and seen and not heard. No, that wasn't actually the case a lot of the time. Women just wanted economic rights. See, you're just rewriting history. And they slip in the queue because, again, they just create this false equivalency of if you're an ally to the LGBT community, traditionally LGBT community, that you have to accept everything that comes with that. And I don't. Yeah, see? And it's right to, hang on, move on. But I'm not offended per se. So what they do is they empathize and they validate, and then they bait and switch, right? I'm serious. Watch the episode of The Simpsons where they join the leader cult, and in that thing with the movie. I should have actually gotten a clip from Frankiak before, but that's okay. Hey girls, okay girls, thanks. Like this, there's no logic to this argument. No, none whatsoever. It's all just programming. And they literally admit that they want to reprogram us. And again, when I say they, I mean, I hate SJW, but if anyone can, like, the Church of Woke is my own term, and maybe I need to just create that, but this religion that seems to have taken hold, where people can't, I don't know. I don't want to use SJW because that seems to trigger the trolls, and I can't have time for that shit. So, and I don't like that either because I do find that has baggage. But yeah, consider your actions, consider your thoughts, think first. Have empathy. Don't you have empathy? I have all of the empathy. Don't you have empathy? I have all of the empathy. Until you disagree with me. and then I'll send you death threats. So don't fall for this, please. I'm happy to run. I actually, you know what? I really am very interested in this topic. I don't know if many people are talking about the communication side of this psychology. I'd be quite happy to run some videos on this. I know this has run long. I always run long and I always talk shit. But hopefully no one's been here. I think there's only been a few people here anyway. Or that or the comments aren't working. Either or. It could be either one. Anyway, this I think that we just need to start breaking some of these communications down. Hopefully I don't get a strike for like playing this video, but it really does highlight this. It's not just that this is deliberate. They put a young woman of color there. I'm saying woman of color out of respect. I'm trying here. It's there's a movement here of which she is a pawn, and she is put there, much like she's the front line. Isn't it interesting how? Here we go. In World War II. Here we go. Here's my false equivalency that I'm going to get in, which is, remember in World War II and Gallipoli when they put a whole bunch of Aboriginal people and black people on the front line and they all died and the whiteys were saved and protecting the whiteys in power? It's almost like that's happening here, right? Human shields, that's not okay. That's racist. Right? And I actually tried to have this conversation with somebody, and I'm sorry, we are friends and I love you, but I did take objection to it because I am a designer and I do have to work with clients in stock photography, and all I did was point out that it's difficult to find stock photography that is culturally balanced and appropriate for, and that in every project I do the best I can, and I got told to never say that again to anyone. And I was like, I thought that I was helping. I thought that I was actually being reassuring and saying, look, I'm an ally, I'm doing the best that I can. And I was just, because it was just something about fucking marketing photos. This is how it's corrosive. Because now I'm going to get called out as something for just being like unwitting. And it's like, I'm pretty open and willing to learn, but I need to push back on this stuff. It's not what it seems. It's really not what it seems. This is fan fiction and it's a fandom and it's a cult, and they're actually starting to get into our institutions. People are giving tweets, putting tweets on. This is very much linked to, what I said in the Borderlands video about putting fan forum arguments as news. Like, it's stupid. And they should stay within the fan forum. That's what it should be. So anyway, I know I've probably been talking way too long now. I've gone like 15 minutes over, and I hope this is. If you are interested in me talking more about the communications theory behind like sales and theory and how they're actually doing this and using examples, I'm more than happy to make that my focus, because it's plain as day to me. And that's when I actually started to see, having read Animal Farm many times, and it being my book, you become very aware of what's going on. And so I got peaked out of this woke church business when I saw what looked like changing the language and changing the rules. And it became very, very obvious. And there's a lot of money behind this movement, and there's a lot of social capital. Social capital is different to actual capital, but it's still a thing. It's sociolinguistic capital. Look it up on Wikipedia. It's an interesting concept made by socialists. It's funny how I can have different ideas about different things. I can still be on the left and critique the left. Anyway, I've wandered off, but if you're interested in learning more about this, let me know, because I would very much. I'm writing my book, but I would also I do need to talk more about some of this stuff and research some of this stuff again anyway. So I may as well share it while I'm talking about it. But we could deep dive into the strategies that they use in political communication to fight objection, and the visuals so that they would, you know, like that video is not an accident. It's not, absolutely not an accident. Every second of it is propaganda, and it's actually well designed. Props to those that, you know, if I was on the other side, I'd be very proud of that video, because you zugzwanged them good, right? And yeah, but I think most people, I just worry that kids are going to watch this and be subjected to NLP practices within what they consider to be videos, and, you know, descend into this cult, and it's not okay. That's where I draw the line, is where this is clearly affecting people's minds. You know, like they think the world is ending. They think the world's ending. They're being brainwashed with this bullshit. They think that, you know, they're good, smart people are being suckered into this stuff. And I need to start wearing a fucking colander, because it looks like I've got a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy, it's a phenomenon. And I think that it's very much linked to our need for religion. But so anyway, I've waffled on, as I do. If you want to I'd love for you to subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. Do that again so I can edit this. Please subscribe if you want. And I don't want to do the Patreon thing or the donation thing, but if you do want to help me, then have a look at my business. I consult on digital, and I'm also happy to consult on some of this persuasive communication. I am a kick-ass designer, and I know this stuff inside out. As someone who studied politics and marketing and am a UX designer, I know the psychology and I know manipulation when I see it. And that video is absolute manipulation, and it's deeply, deeply worrying. So I hope that this has been a little bit educational, and I know that it started out funny. That's me. I oscillate between fucking smart and laughing at my own dad jokes, but I'm figuring out my voice. This is it. I'm figuring it out. This is me, serious and funny. Two things can be true at once, and that's okay. I can also be pretty and fat. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. I can also be left brain and right brain, which is both. So, and I can also be a girl and have opinions. So we're all good. We're all good. Okay. I love you. This was impromptu. I have to go do some work. Give me feedback. Definitely, if you're angry, actually me in the comments, because I need the engagement. So bring it on, fuckers. Love you all. Bye.